Rudy's biggest challenge is here, even more so than his ED. He has to play Daddy. Rudy pulled the Simpsons meme and dropped off Aisha and Norn, giving us a hot and cold situation. The great Rudis Doranuma Greyrat must find his inner real Paul, which might not be the best example for a dad. Doranuma must find both his inner real Paul, discount Paul, and inner Rudy to make the hardest parental decisions to help out Aisha and Norn, his little sisters, but mostly Norn, to be in the best possible position to succeed, to feel loved, to feel like they are understood. Rudy must help character develop children. Mostly Norn because she might end up as a tragedy and a very unlikable antagonist. For this video, we're going to be covering Season 2, Episode 16 of Norn and Aisha. After watching this episode, you might be thinking to yourself that you might get a vasectomy. Before you light novel and manga readers start jerking yourself off from knowing the future, these reviews are always up until this point. I find it valuable to study the progress of the story and what the anime is trying to convey to us within the moment in each episode. It's never about the spoilers on this channel. Enjoy the ride and enjoy not knowing the future, because we're all gonna die anyways. Of course, the greatest person to protect our children from predators, it is the return of the #1 original Tomodachi, Rudy. Rudy and young Rudis catch up with a calming beverage in the living room by the fireplace. Bruh, this mansion is so convenient. Rudy realizes the discriminated against Sperdo was the one that real Paul entrusted with his 2 daughters. Apparently, Rudy has been chilling in the southern jungles doing who knows what, and eventually ran into real Paul at the East Port, where real Paul and crew are trying to track down slave wifey in Begarit. Rudy and Ginger agreed to accompany Norn and Aisha. At the same time, Rudy finally met Rudy's master, autistic Roxy. Don't get mad at me, it's Roxy's people that think she's worse than autistic. Just like how Roxy is prejudiced by her own people, she was very afraid of the bald-headed Sperdo from all those years of prejudice. Aisha, the #1 favorite sister and random one-night stand child of real Paul and maid, Lilia is smart as hell and recommended to the grown demon man to take a caravan as guards, which shortened their travel time to make it to Rudy's cursed mansion. With a big fat smile on his face, Rudy mentioned how this little kid bullied him to expedite their travels. Of course, Rudy apologizes, but this ain't no red herring, guys. We got ourselves a confirmed demon child that's not a demon. Get ready to not want to have kids anymore, Doranuma. Eris gets brought up, so foursome, here we go. Of course, Rudy tells Rudy how tilted he felt by Eris ditching him. Rudy gives the most logical reply to how all relationships fail. Misunderstanding from miscommunication. You know, my words don't really mean what I'm saying, but what I'm saying means something different. Women, man. Rudy starts to think about how 3 years has passed and it was I identifies as Fitz that saved Rudy's booty. Rudy assures Rudy that him leaving early after dropping off Aisha and Norm is temporary. He'll be back to see his friend. He continues to give calming guidance to Rudy that if he sees her again, that they should talk it out. Be reasonable, man. People make weird decisions for whatever reason. Rudy even shows how he is the #1 original Tomodachi by offering to talk to Eris if he ever sees her again, to get her side of the story and thought process behind giving Rudy ED. At the end of the day, closure is nice to have in relationships, and she can be concubine #2 after Nanahoshi. After the opening credits, like the previous 2 episodes that provided the hook that encompasses the whole episode, Rudy's return with Aisha and Norn does do that for the remainder of the episode. However, it also reintroduces one of Rudy's traumas that led to his ED, the soulless Eris. Rudy wakes up early in the morning while Sylvie is still sleeping. He notices a plot brewing as it's been a while since any real suspense music that actually mattered almost created something epic, like Rudy and Bodyguardi duking it out. Whatever beef they may have had since the King Laplace days is probably still causing someone to want to punch, bully, or just downright impale a foe. You can breathe a sigh of relief or disappointment that it was a nothing burger. Rudy continues to show his composure and tact and tells Rudy they ain't gonna throw hands. Rudy mentions that Bodyguardi came all of this way to seek out Rudy. Rudy, knowing him on a more personal level than we do, says that sounds like him, alright. Rudy asks Rudy one last time to enjoy company with his family before he tries to ditch them. Rudy eats with Rudy's family and then he says his goodbyes that leads to needy children issues. Aisha seems to be the smart and well-behaved one. Norn is like the screw this side of my family, I'd rather go with you, Richard. She's totally mad at Rudy for clocking real Paul and says that gray silver-haired girl ain't the green one. Richard assures her that Rudy is a pretty solid individual, and what's her face will be alright. You'll be alright, kiddo. Richard departs back on his journey, and we can all say, so long, amazing plot partner. And it's about that time, folks, where you question long and hard about really wanting kids. Rudy talks to Aisha and Norn in the living room by the fireplace. Let's all get along, kids. Yeah? No? Aisha is super excited to be back where Rudy is making good small talk about how crazy it is that he got married to Sophie. She tries to get Norn involved and she's like, I'm related to these Tensais. Norn continues to say that she don't even remember this fake ass, fits ass, silvered ass, not actually green-haired ass Sophie. Aisha ends up giving Rudy a chest of stuff with a letter, multiple letters. One of the letters tells him to send these two hot cold sisters to school where they can be indoctrinated with smarts. Aisha continues to be really hot about not wanting to go to school because she ain't gonna learn anything. Half of us are Aisha. For some reason, Aisha just wants to continue playing maid and take care of her dear Nissan. She even brings up the promised gift he gave to her a long time ago. Kids will remember everything, so you better hold on to your words because they're not gonna take it lightly. So Rudy insists she at the very least take the magic entrance exam and then he'll make the final decision based on her performance. Rudy insists that Norn take the same deal, but she gives him the cold shoulder. She does a lot of that. Aisha keeps scolding her for her disrespect for the great big brother Doranuma. Norn is clearly hesitant and lacks self-confidence in her abilities to pass the exam, either by experience that showed that she lacks the ability, which contributes to her hesitancy. Rudy messes up by saying, I mean, what's a test score if you got money? Norn shows more and more of how she thinks as a person by being against any rich people kind of loophole. This clearly tells me that even though Norn knows she is not as talented as Aisha, and probably many other people too, she wants to earn her stripes legitimately. But on with you, Rudy. Money talks. This money bribing talk doesn't help Rudy in the eyes of Norn, but Aisha is number one imoto. She makes excuses for Rudy because her sister is below average. This ticks Norn off and she bails on her family, but at least she said she'll take the test. Aisha acts like a nagging older nanny as she continues scolding her for walking away from her, but in the maturity age of a preteen, she even speaks condescendingly like,
these damn kids won't listen.
Aisha is clearly a brilliant child. God damn, she's an annoying child, but a frustratingly annoying, lovable child that correctly looks up to our guy Doranuma. Rudy puts on his Richard hat and starts to spit some real wisdom to number one imoto. That's not very nice. Don't patronize your own sister and talk down to her. In Aisha's eyes, her below average little sister isn't trying hard enough. However, she probably is. I get it, Norn. The struggle to become just average is pretty tough. The scene shifts to Sophie and Rudy's bedroom. In the previous episodes, they were getting busy. Now, this is where marriages start to fall. These damn kids, man. Rudy starts to feel the frustration of daddy time. Sophie calms him with her fit's wisdom. She tells him that Aisha will be alright. She's clearly the go-getter type that doesn't necessarily need school. She already has her maid outfit on so she can help clean. However, the below average little sister feels inept without real daddy and real number one OG-san, Richard. So it skips to after the exam and the results are in. You are now the father. Wait, wrong context. Like how we already knew based on Aisha and Norn's personalities. Masaka, Aisha is tensai as fuck. Norn is haking Ika. Aisha literally got a perfect score, which means she's perfect for cleaning. Rudy tries to play it cool with below average sister Norn. So what you trying to be when you grow up?
Away from you, in the dorms where I can be isolated and more depressed.
Rudy said. Alright, sounds good. Aisha steps in to play the real parent. Aisha reminds him that real Paul told him to stay with Doranuma. However, Rudy is a noob dad that's about to make a decision he may strongly regret later. Aisha rightfully gets angry as hell because she deserves the reward of her choosing since she accomplished what Rudy asked with flying colors. The below average Norn shouldn't be rewarded with more isolation from her actual family that actually cares about her. Now, she'll be left with the bullies like Persena and Linnea. Then Aisha pulls a card that she will always have, locked and loaded, ready to use to make you feel like crap.
It's because my mother was real Paul's side chick, huh?
You look down on us concubine babies, huh?
You only love half of me, honey-san.
Haha, and Bachan even said so. Rudy responds with the dude, I'm just trying to do the right thing. And how I like to say these things is, when you try to do the right thing, sometimes it can fail. And fail badly. We got ourselves a little slice of life montage that eventually skips to Rudy sending his little below average sister off to be more isolated and bullied at school with no one to keep tabs on her to make sure she doesn't yeet herself. Dark? I know. This is probably not a good decision. Rudy starts to rattle off a bunch of parenty things that usually goes from one ear to the other. Look here, Rudy. This is like sending your kids off to college. Being like, don't drink, don't party, and don't have that dreaded unprotected encounters. Of course I won't. Rudy is baka as hell. Rudy tries to play in the middle by telling Norn to visit him every 10 days to Norn's disappointment. But at least Rudy had that going for him. The scene shifts quickly into Norn's red flags. Rudy runs into Norn and she is looking angry and frustrated as hell. The scene shows Norn walking alone, isolated, while a group of NPC friends are having a swell time. This right here is what I love reviewing about the story within the anime. This clearly adds on more and more to Norn's struggles, with her continually maybe being inept, distant with people. If you guys ever been in a group project, there's always the lagger. I promise you guys, that lagger was me. So the story sets up Norn's biggest qualities that we know about her, continually be something that she will struggle with. This is where the mystery of the story up until this point leaves out the context of what our natural conclusion is about what is happening with Norn. A month has passed and Norn is still isolated. No shit, Rudy. Linnea and Persena has been noticing that Great Grandmaster Doronuma has been down the dumps lately. So these two bullies, and I mean bullies, help cheer him up with a mystery brown bag. Apparently it's been 1 month of them accumulating what's in this brown bag, and they shall not allow their master to open this amazing present until he goes home. Would you look at these two cute little beasts? They are definitely not up to no good. Oi! Luke has been upgraded to Detective Grey Rat as he questions what Rudy is doing, just squeezing this soft mystery bag cuzzo. Detective Grey Rat demands that he follow him to the student council office, where he's confronted by Princess Ariel, Detective Grey Rat, and his husband, Vince. If you are a new student, have small boobies, and have a cute face, the following that should be put in parentheses shall put you in jail. And Linnea and Persena were probably using Sylphie as the archetype for such an attack, as they essentially stole these panties off of that Sylphie archetype. Luke has a face of disgust. Princess Ariel's playing mind games, and Fitz is like, it can't be my man. It is finally revealed that his two little beast abusers have been Kazuma stealing them panties from little girls. It is time to put your Masaka face on. Rudy has built up enough trust to just believe him, and he correctly denies that he didn't do or put her two beast followers up to this abhorrent task. Of course, Fitz is relieved because she'd been trying to continue putting that thing on Rudy. Y'all be banging each other real good, huh? Just wait for the dreaded marriage killer. Options! Rudy gives the bag back to Princess Ariel, who will give the other girls back their garments. All four of them continue walking in the hallway and they run into Norn. This will be Luke and Princess Ariel's first time meeting her. Norn gives that cold shoulder, but Rudy's like, yo Norn! Not this guy again. Norn reluctantly tells him that she's lost, which allows Luke to guide her to her actual destination. Just like how Rudy needs Sylphie's help to get to understand his little sisters better, Princess Ariel and maybe even Luke could be characters that can help Rudy guide Norn. It's that time. Rudy confronts the two big bullies, Linnea and Persena. Let's not forget, Rudy not only has to manage his little sisters, he has to continue juggling his two troublemaker followers, Zanaba, Julie, plus the situation with Lena and Lise. I'm telling you guys, when you guys get older like I am, and you have friends, they could bring baggage along with it to drag you in. Don't do it, guys! As Rudy scolds Linnea and Persena, they see a little blonde-headed below average but cute face that's isolating herself from her family, likely leading to more and more depressing qualities in Norn. They try to bully her, or happen. But Rudy notices who it is and makes it quite clear that is number 2 Imoto, you beast. Of course, this doesn't help Rudy's case of how Norm may be judging him. She has a strong negative impression of him, and it might have just gotten a lot worse. Just one last time, Rudy makes his threats to these two arses. Rudy concludes that he will have to just slowly chip away at Norm to get her to trust him. It skips to class time, and there seems to be a student missing from class. Of course, it's the depressed and isolated below average little sister that needs tons of love that is slowly becoming fat, neat Rudy. Norn is last seen isolated within her own dorm room. Rudy, she's becoming fat you, man. And that is the end of the episode. Norn clearly seems like the archetype that knows that she has some lackluster qualities and feels less valuable to her loved ones. This can slowly spiral her into depression and to not see what other qualities that she may have that can potentially be positive ones. In a regular shonen, it would be like if another character can never overcome and be stronger than another character. This within the story is like a replacement of that. She clearly needs the right kind of love, the right kind of person that can understand her and maybe even relate to her. There needs to be characters there for her that can help take down her wall. With Aisha, she's more mature, but she's very abrasive. She is also still a child. She lacks the tact and understanding to really get Norn because she was born with more naturally talented qualities. And of course, Doranuma is no different in his isekai form, but he does have the neat form of his previous Earth life, and he will have to draw from that. Like how he used that to help relate with Nanahoshi, he's gonna have to use his fat neat form Earth to relate with Norn. So what we have brewing here is the character development dynamic between Rudy and his little sister Norn. The dilemma that Rudy faces is making the best decisions possible to give Norn a safe place to succeed and build a foundation around her that can support her. Of course, it's looking terrible right now. These two characters must overcome their dynamic or we're gonna be in a dark, depressing ass place. What I love about this episode with the introduction of Norn and Aisha, getting to know their characters more, is a whole new can of worms for Rudy's character development and the reality of kids. The anime trope of little kid characters is like, oh, Oni-chan. Kids are cute and all, but they're half demons. If you guys are trying to have kids or have kids, ganbatte. So guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode and everything up until this point. No spoilers, please. Appreciate the journey because we all die anyways. So let me know what you guys think about this episode and everything up to this point. Do me a favor, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Check out my blog otakusen.com, and I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys next video.